Hey. We did the
Mistake.
thing. Mistake.
Yeah, I misread the thing at the end.
Someone in chat said there was like heavy breathing.
Yeah, for some reason I was picking up, I guess, Kathleen's breathing.
I was yawning and I was trying to...
During the first story?
Yeah.
The other one, for the Django Unchained one.
Oh.
You did put the quote as, you said, I'll grease my gears with my blood.
With my blood? Is that what I said?
I think so, yeah.
Man. All right.
Well, I nailed all my stories, and I powered through misreading the outro I wrote.
Mm-hmm. What?
Are there people out there?
There's people outside.
Oh, okay. I was like, I hear people talking.
No, they're outside. Grease your gears. Did I say grease your gears with my blood?
I believe so, yes.
What a Freudian slip.
It's not really Freudian, it's just wrong.
It's really not much of a threat.
Yeah, I'll grease your gears with my blood. Cool, I don't have gears and you don't have blood, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess I gotta do that one again. How bad was the breathing? No, I don't mean the quality of the breathing. I mean how noticeable.
It was a little bit, it's weird. Like, I don't know why the mic was picking that up when it doesn't normally.
Maybe it's just how Kathleen was sitting.
Or where the mic is. Actually, Kathleen, your mic is actually rubbing on your shirt a little bit.
Oh.
Breathing was fine? Okay. You said it in a really threatening way. I'll grease your gears with my blood. I don't know what that means, but...
I got a 7 out of 10 on my breathing from
you
the chat.
seem really insistent, so I'm just gonna... I'll let you do your thing. All right, well, we should probably record that again then, so I can get their quote correct.
Yeah.
Mic seems to be upside down. The mic being upside down or right side up, sorry for yelling in the mic, doesn't actually matter. It's sort of like... It's fine, is what I'm saying.
It's not bedtime, it's just coffee time.
Coffee time.
All right. Well, I'll just mute Kathleen while you do that story.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. I'm gonna be working on my improv raps over here then, since I'm muted, no one will ever hear me.
You do still... You
just
still show up quietly in Graham's mind.
What if I lean over so you can hear my improv raps a little better? Hey everybody, I'm here to say the rap is the only way to annoy your co-hosts on this day. Hip hip hooray! Improv raps aren't my jam, but it's okay, you're my fam. You understand what I must do. This song has many more verses from me to you.
I just want to connect to the teleprompter.
Oh wow, neither of them are going now?
No.
Graham,
because your phone went to sleep.
Two phones Stark.
And the prompter... Oop. Is it working now?
No. This is, to be clear, the best teleprompter app we have found so far.
And everything about it is great, except for that one.
Everything's great, except for the connection. It just won't.
It's possible that like a newer or a different iPad would be better at it.
How come you got two phones? Oh, well.
One's mine.
Yeah.
No, it's just...
I had a joke, but yeah.
The smaller, daintier one is mine.
This one's Kathleen's.
Graham, two phones Stark.
I was trying to think of every, like, bad reason that someone would have a phone. I'd be like, well, this is my phone, and then this one's for my side chick and my drug dealing and my... But I couldn't think of.
This is your regular phone, and this is the phone that you only use when you're shitting.
Is that any better?
Oh, that's good too. Yeah. Yep. I'm connected.
That's your poop phone.
That's my poop phone.
I bet some. Who's really rich? Kanye. Kanye don't totally. He probably has a poop iPad.
I remember when we were in line for the original iPhones.
Yeah.
There was a guy who had. He was talking about having a drunk phone and a regular
phone.
So like he had like an old Nokia or something that he took with him when he was going to go get drunk
in case he lost it or dropped it or
yeah.
That's smart because you could also make sure that you don't have like certain contacts or Twitter
just to avoid like drunk dialing somebody.
Yeah. All right, let's redo that story then.
Okay.
All right. Bethesda announced a new character on the Quake Champions roster, a robotic killing machine named Clutch. Bethesda describes the... Oh,
sorry.
Oh, wait, whoop.
I muted the wrong one.
Oh, you muted me?
Yes.
Lol.
All right, let's try again.
All right, stop. Could you please retract your elbow? Thank you. Bethesda announced a new character on the Quake Champions roster, a robotic killing machine named Clutch. Bethesda describes the character thusly, quote, Clutch spent most of its existence underground crushing rock and protecting its human overlords from falling rock as a mindless, nearly indestructible mining robot. After stumbling upon unexplored ruins with strange markings, it gained the power to escape and punish its masters. Now it's a woke AF killing machine. Now, we can just take it as read that using woke in an official release makes you sound like someone's dad just came down to the basement to ask if the kids were feeling fleek today. But Bethesda actually seems to have some idea of what they're saying, but not enough to know that it's a bad idea. Positioning Clutch as a slave taking revenge on its masters, and using a phrase that grew into mainstream usage from the Ferguson riots and through association with the Black Lives Matter movement, is probably not a connection you should make. It comes across as disingenuous when you're saying he's basically a robot slave and now he's killing his human masters, so that's the same as the ongoing civil rights issues in the United States. That's not to say that games can't deal with complex societal issues, but when some of Clutch's voice clips are, I'll grease my gears with your blood, and pitiful humans, you will all die, then maybe it shouldn't be this game. Did I do it right that time?
Yeah. Yes.
Yay. Also, this is kind of funny, actually.
Chat was taking bets on you overthinking it and messing it up.
I was worried about that myself. So the direct quote actually is, Clutch spent most of its existence underground crushing rocks and protecting his human overlords. Their actual press release switches back and forth between...
So it's like once it became woke, it became...
I guess?
It started identifying
No, because they only say his once. It's every other time.
Oh.
It's just like... Also, just badly worded. Like the... I'm trying to go back now. Hang on. Clutch spent most of its existence underground crushing rock and protecting its human overlords from falling rock as a mindless... Just like...
Oh, yeah, that's a bad sentence.
It's just awkwardly worded.
Hey, if people want to pass their press releases through me, I could be like, that's not good.
You're like, this sentence is worded weird. Your pronouns are all over the place. Also, don't say woke.
Stop that.
Yeah.
Stop whatever you're doing.
Hey, Paul. Mm-hmm. Can you plug my phone in over there? Goodbye, phone.
Do you think there are people who watch Checkpoint primarily because they want video game news?
Yeah.
I don't... Well,
I hope
no.
so.
I believe that there are people who get the majority of their video game news from us, which is probably a mistake, but thank you anyway. But I don't think anyone's like, oh shit, video game news, I better go check that out. I mean, I think there's few people, I guess.
All right, let's talk. Speaking of video game news, I'm on a bit of a time crunch today, so let's get to discussing the news.
Yeah. Let me just not roll over this XLR cable.
I think whatever pronoun a robot wanted to use, you just wait till they tell you what pronoun they want.
Yeah, like anybody. I just think it's funny that they were like...
Especially if it's a giant robot that wants
has rockets.
And wants to use your blood to grease its gears. Which, by the way, not very good grease.
Probably not good. No.
Because it would get sticky. In fact, I think it would be, like, bad.
Yeah, like, I think that's what you would need grease to, like, get rid of.
All right, so the first story we did today. Nintendo discontinued the NES Classic.
I guess they decided...
What the shit?
I guess they decided it was too hard to make it, and so the speculation is that they're pulling it and they're going to relaunch for Christmas with, like, a different, like, supply chain.
Because this is interesting, because they've said that the NES Classic, the shipment that's gone out is the last one.
Yeah.
That's it. In Japan, they said the Famicom Classic is being discontinued currently, but might be recontinued later. But they haven't said that about the North American one. Also, if that is the case, like, I don't know, my favorite take on it was like Nintendo, like discussion between Nintendo execs, right? Like, we need to Like, we need to think of a fun toy for the holidays. Oh, let's just put an emulator on a Raspberry Pi and put it in a cool-looking case. I don't know. That sounds kind of stupid, but sure, go for it. They're selling amazingly well. Shut it down.
Yeah.
Like,
it's, I mean, and like the, in terms of like supply chain stuff, people have like opened them up, right?
yeah.
And, you know, so we know that there's no like proprietary chips or anything on it. Like, it's bog standard stuff. So yeah, it's Nintendo hates money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some sort of money-related trauma, perhaps,
All right.
happened a long time ago.
Yeah. So, Nier Automata. The reason why that's called immersion shimmersion
Immersion.
is because that's literally what you have, the option you have to select in the game when you go to fight the CEOs. It's very funny. It's very silly and self-aware, and without making too many spoilers about Nier, Nier is kind of a self-aware game, so it fits really well. I think it's great. That's just dumb fun. The costumes are all reference other Nier games. It's like, how is this even all in the same universe? I'm so confused. And apparently it's also in the same universe as Drakengard?
Yeah.
Yep.
What the fuck?
Well, because the Drakengard games, I can't remember where the fission happened, or the fissure happened, but the Drakengard series is in one continuity, and then Nier branches off from the bad ending of one of the Drakengard games.
Wow.
So it's like, if the bad ending happened, then, and it was not marketed that way. To be clear, Nier was a completely self-contained game that was just this weird JRPG, and people started playing it, and then as people got to various points in the game, they were like, holy shit, this is Drakengard.
Drakengard 3.
Right, Drakengard 3.
Although some people say one end of Drakengard 1. I don't know. It's a weird idea.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. The last ending of the original Drakengard.
Anyway,
Clutch? That's just a bad idea.
Yeah.
You heard that story twice. Don't do that.
I was going to say, I don't think I need to get further into that.
Stop it. If you're like, hey, we can make social commentary and a robot that kills people, it's like, maybe not.
Get it? He's woke, right?
No, that's not even what woke means. Woke is like, I acknowledge the struggles that people who have a different life experience of me might be facing, even though their issues are invisible to me from my bubble of privilege. That's a very woke position. I'm going to murder you is not woke. It's just wanting to murder people.
Yeah, it's very, you know.
Clutch should get a Pepsi skin. Yeah. Yeah.
It's very similar in that way, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Mankind Divided is like already a game with like a lot of like stuff going on about how people treat people with cybernetic implants and what it means to be a human and all of that stuff. This is a game about shooting people.
And there's no like a story.
in-game narrative for Mankind Divided and the advertising campaign for Mankind Divided are actually very different. It was in a weird way that I found strange, but anyway. Professor Layton, Kathleen went deep on that Wikipedia.
I had to check a lot of my facts because I was like, I don't want to mess this up. But yeah, I forgot how ridiculous Azran Legacy gets at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Everybody's related.
Spoilers,
I guess. That game came out a long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't actually. I just kind of want to know what Professor Layton is a professor of.
Archaeology.
Archaeology.
Yeah.
Problem solving, and I want the like Professor Layton grad student one. Maybe that's where he meets up with whoever is.
No, there's no Catriel in any of the Layton games.
Well, no, but maybe
there's no Mrs. Layton.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Maybe he met up with her before. Well,
So you're saying Layton's a deadbeat dad. He's just
he was still a grad
his family
student,
to go
and then
solve mysteries with another child.
well, maybe he didn't know. You know.
Oh.
Maybe they were estranged.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, right.
They were like, "Why don't you spend some time with me, Professor Layton? Stop with all the puzzles.
Yeah.
Don't you understand that your family is the real puzzle?"
Yeah. Well.
And the Switch was the last story in the sort of the main show. It's again the Switch being the best-selling fastest selling Nintendo console ever is like that's baller for Nintendo, great for them.
Yeah.
But the real thing that we found funny was that Breath of the Wild outsold it, and to be clear, Not Breath of the Wild totally, because Breath of the Wild for Wii U sold like 425,000 copies also. This is just copies of Breath of the Wild for the Switch, outsold the Switch.
Yeah.
Oh, Shadmed said my friend bought me Breath of the Wild for my birthday. I don't have a Switch. I am part of that statistic.
Hey.
Yeah, so, yeah, presumably some of it is like, yeah, it's people who couldn't get a Switch, but Breath of the Wild was available, so they got Breath of the Wild.
And they're like, eventually Switches will be around. I want, and, you know, or my best friend has a Switch. He says I can use it when
I'm masochistic and I ate one.
And the thing is that you can't, like, the save files are on the cartridge, right?
No, they're on the device.
They're on the device.
Switch,
Interesting.
So it's not like you can, like, get it and then transfer it to your own Switch when you get a Switch.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Hey, Ben.
But, so...
There is Ben.
That's kind of weird. Although, I mean, I hope that what Nintendo takes away from this, rather than being like, look at how successful we were, look at how successful Zelda is. They should be looking at this being like, you are guaranteed to have sold 20,000 more Switches if you had just been able to make them.
Yeah. All right. Some other stories. I actually did not read this first one.
The World of Warcraft players solve a secret spamming all of Azeroth. There's basically a bunch of...
Spamming.
Spamming.
Okay. Span.
I just misspoke the first time, but now I'm reading it.
I know you are.
Basically, they hid a bunch of pages around in a Discord group sprung up to help solve this mystery, and like it's very involved, so I'm not going to recount it because I'm not entirely sure of what all the mechanics were.
It's like this is high-level Blizzard puzzle dickery.
Yeah, puzzle dickery, and like the guy who designed it was like lurking in the Discord chat and like teasing people over Twitter. And then the solution, you got an epic mount.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool.
Which is like, okay, but for people in Warcraft, they're just like, yay, a thing I can fly on.
My favorite thing was the developer. He was like lurking in the Discord chat and like teasing them every once in a while. And then when they like started figuring it out, he was like, shout out to like this username who suggested this like 5 days ago and nobody paid attention to him. And then when they all figured it out, he did a post that was like, see you next time, and then just a picture of like the Riddler.
Nice.
Yeah. And then
this is cool.
There's a game called Senran Kagura.
Well, there's many games called Senran Kagura.
Okay, there's a series of games called Senran Kagura.
They're in the genre of pendulous anime titty, and there was a bit on,
but also a game.
Also a game.
It just happens to
have
there was a
flummoxing bubble.
There was a video from the Nintendo Direct that was like,
oh, the titty games just can't work.
The guy, people working on the game, like trying to get the HD rumble right, and they're holding like holding the Switch in one hand and then like water balloons in the other hand, and it's like, what do you do in this game?
Like pudding?
Yeah, and like the Japanese pudding thing. Like it's a weird video, and I honestly can't tell if it's not clear if they're being super tongue in cheek or if they're honestly like, see, isn't this going to be great?
Yeah, without a translation, it's hard to see.
Flummoxing fun bags.
The previous iteration of this franchise was centered around, I believe, a water gun fight.
Yes.
So just to give you a kind of an idea.
Mm-hmm. Oh God, I remember that, Richard Erman. Jeez.
All right, so
hey, Pokemon Go
is having an Easter event.
Eggs everywhere.
Double XP and higher chance of getting good stuff out of eggs.
Out of little eggs.
But no reduction in the cost of incubators.
Because that would bring us joy.
I believe they did reduce the cost of other stuff, though.
Yeah, they reduced the cost of lucky eggs, which give you
double XP. So if you pop a lucky egg now, it's quad XP.
Oh shit! What?
Quad XP.
Man, why didn't I wait?
Well, I didn't know.
I didn't know either.
All right. A new Nintendo 3DS has an exclusive game. It's called Scoopin' Birds, and it stars Alice Scooper, who is who is like...
You know, if you say that really fast, that almost sounds like Alice Cooper.
And it looks like Alice Cooper, and they asked real Alice Cooper, who one of the developers knows from church, I think, according to this article.
Really?
If they could put his likeness in the game, and he's like, sure, whatever. It's a game about scooping birds.
It was one of
His name is Vince in real life. Nice.
It was it was one of the artists. The developer was like hanging out with one of the artists, like, and they went to church or something. And so it wasn't even the developer's church. It was like one of the artists of the game's church that apparently Alice Cooper goes to.
People are just held up on the from church part.
And yeah.
Who's like, hey, we're hanging out. Let's go to church. Who says that to their friends?
I don't know what the context. Who says that to
somebody they work with?
I don't know what the context was. But anyway,
must be a very fun
apparently,
church.
Yeah, they asked him about it, and he thought it was funny. And so yeah, it is like officially licensed. It's not just like some random thing. He said they couldn't. There's no like tech voices in it. Mm-hmm. And he's saying that he didn't have the heart to ask Alice Cooper to record the like.
Oh, this is very complicated.
Yeah, that's actually everything that we had flagged apart from the Fez story,
the Fez story is like, I read it and it's just like super complicated. And it's not the kind of thing. It's a cool story.
It's a look back at the unsolvable puzzle.
So the Fez thing is interesting. The reason why I marked that is it's interesting because it's unsolvable puzzle that has basically hasn't really been solved.
People brute forced the answer, but they don't know the question now. They don't know how you would ever get to that.
They basically they figured out the thing, and they're like, okay, there are however many thousand different options.
They've made a very tenuous sort of retrograde solution where it's like, if you take this date and transpose it with the order of the pictures and then run it backwards and put it on its side, and it's like...
Yeah, they basically did the 42 thing. Like, they did the thing where they found the answer without knowing what the question was. Mm-hmm. Just by brute forcing it.
They deep thoughted it.
Yeah.
And, And Phil Fish, being the mercurial person that he is, I'm sure is not that interested in telling people about it.
No.
Probably the answer would have been in Fez 2.
Yeah.
Sad. I know people who are like maybe kind of annoyed. I was like, who invites a friend to church? We're not particularly religious, and Canada is not particularly overall terribly religious.
It wasn't, to be
clear. We're not trying to dig on church. It's just something we don't really... It's not in our culture the same way as it is in American culture, to be totally frank with you.
You know, because Steve was like, some people go to church pretty regularly. Weird but true. Yeah. No judgment. It's the idea that someone goes to church, that's not an alien concept. It's the idea that it's like you're hanging out. It's what it sounded like when Paul was reading that out is like a couple people hanging out and be like, what do you want to do this afternoon? I don't know. Well, hey, you want to go to church? Like, that seems weird, but...
Clearly, yeah. Who knows what the actual context was, but anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
Y'all have not lived in the prairies, have y'all? No, BC is a terrible, godless land.
Yep.
Like I said, that was basically it.
Other Canadians coming in being like, yeah, Canada's just not super religious. Even like the most religious parts of Canada got nothing on America.
Yeah.
Mm. I mean, I went to an Anglican private school, but it was not very churchy.
Yeah, and you went to a literal church school.
Like, we had chapel once a week, but it was at the point. I guess I would think it was more religious before, but they kind of opened it up a lot.
I like Craddock is like, I'm Irish, and you want to come to church? Sounds weird to me. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think that was it. There was something else that I wanted to mention, and I can't remember.
Yeah, I guess I don't know why in particular right now, but for some reason the news didn't seem to be that. There didn't seem to be a lot of news.
That's what it was. It was Richard Ehrman. There we go.
Yes.
Brash Games. Yeah. So, did I miss something, or is that not newsworthy? We don't do every story every week. For one thing, so cool it. Also, if you want to hear about that, Jim did a whole Jimquisition about it today. But yeah, basically, Brash Games was, I say was, because I think it's just sort of evaporated now, or at least it was down for a while. It's a video game news and reviews website that was basically paying people in exposure, but the editor would like not actually edit the stories, but would sometimes change the
byline.
Would sometimes change the actual review score to keep publishers happy, and also if someone then stopped being a contributor, would just remove their bylines from anything they'd written for it, meaning not exposure.
Right.
That's a little taste, a soupçon of what Brash Games was up to. But there's a whole actually this came about because one of the contributors, knowing that his editor never read anything, wrote a review of Pac-Man 256 that was a review of Pac-Man 256. And
for the first 100 words.
No. It was the whole thing was a review, but it also just mid-paragraph would shit on the website and how he'd been treated and what was happening. And then he's like, I'm gonna give this a 1 because I know my editor will just go in and change it, even though I actually really like this game a lot.
And did it? And was it
no, the gig got taken down because it was just the whole article was just shitting on the editor and the thing. Anyway, Jim hired that writer to write an actual an editorial for the Jimquisition.
Oh wow.
On Brash Games and how this is not how you run a website. And I believe that's what today's Jimquisition was also about as well. So you can
good guy Jim.
You can check that out. But that wasn't the story that we decided to do today.
Funny.
Yeah. So.
It's turns out video game news websites still, I mean, I like to think that things have gotten better in terms of, there was the thing, the sort of separation of editorial and advertising.
Yeah.
I feel like at least in the big players.
Oh yeah.
It's gotten better. There's less, or at least less, obvious. But there's been some high profile stuff in terms of YouTubers and Let's Play people and that kind of stuff. Learning that they need to disclose stuff a little better.
Yeah.
So hopefully things are getting a little better, but obviously there are still some stuff. Basically, don't work for exposure.
Yeah. Working for exposure is if the what was it that someone said, if the website is big enough that the amount of exposure you get would actually be helpful to you, then they can afford to pay you.
And if it's not, then no exposure at all.
Their exposure is worthless.
Yeah. If it's not, then put the review on your own website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also make
for all the good little do you.
Also make a website, and then people can link to you.
Yeah. So, alrighty. That's going to actually do it for the video game news.
Let's get to subs.
So let's welcome the, what was it?
Welcome some subs.
Nice. Hey, what do you want to have for lunch?
Sushi. Toasty sub. No.
Thank you. I think that was too early to sandbag. I really set you up right there.
I know. Actually, I am kind of hungry, so I'm excited.
Toasty sub. Paul's trying to get the
subs notifier going.
Thanks for checkpointing, folks. Thank you. In this stream, Kathleen is Morgana.
We one time my brother had a sub party at our house that was it's where you get everyone gets foot-long subs. You get big subwoofers.
Yeah.
And then you watch Hunt for Red October and Dustwood.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Take this little Dalek. It's actually great.
Yeah, he came with the TARDIS over
there. Yeah, I know, yeah.
All right. Be better.
Are you about to eat a tin of Spam? No, that's from me sandbagging earlier.
Kathleen sandbags DeVere.
All right, I'll just go over and do it.
All right, Paul's just going to do it the old-fashioned way by pushing a button.
Paul, will you be reading out subs using the microphone?
Sure.
I guess you're still plugged in.
Paul is still plugged in, yes.
All right, so Paul will be your off-screen sub-welcoming voice.
All right.
Paul,
I've
you
got
start.
this can of spam.
We'll go Paul, Kathleen, Graham.
And a skeleton
Yes.
and a Dalek.
I will be represented by the can of spam. Sidethart.
Sedethert.
Thank you for watching. Glad to be back for Lur. Sorry.
Man
I messed that up.
X311 for 7 months says Mementos money grinding so sleepy. Just got to Mementos.
Pug Iron with a 39-month resub. Welcome back, Pug Iron. Thank you.
EOTFOF for 5 months. 5 months. That's almost a dead meme.
The Woogly for 7 months says I loved you in Loading Ready Live. Ha ha! I don't believe you.
Paranoid Rabbit with a 6-month resub says, "Is this the beginning or the end?" I mean, it was the now it's the end.
TK Raptor for 3 months. Thank you so much.
Zares2 for 5 months says, thanks for all the amazing content that y'all have been creating. Thank you.
Thank you for watching all of it. All of it. Dev Insanity with a 40-month resub says, thanks for all you do. Catching up on streams that I'd missed really helped me through a bad weekend. Also, 40 months. That's almost 41 months, I guess. Thanks, Dev Insanity. Appreciate it.
Squid Force 1 for 31 months. Check all the points.
Ask Who is a new subscriber. Thank you, Ask Who.
Clench Eastwood with a 3-month resub says, hedging my bets for now. More Persona 5 news and a game publisher did something stupid.
No Persona 5
No,
news.
but yes.
Because I'm trying to avoid spoilers.
Hibbity Boppity for 13 months. Impressed you did a FUT after the PPR. Really thought James was bluffing.
So did we.
Klee the Templar is a new subscriber. Thank you.
Zabaron with a 42-month resub says, oh, Nintendo, you so silly.
Yeah.
Or you silly. Thank you. Welcome back, Zabaron.
Bezacrick for 26 months. At least we can check Checkpoint Classic anytime on YouTube.
Hanrat for 18 months. Thank you, Hanrat.
Jadenim, a new subscriber. Welcome to the channel, Jadenim. Thank you.
Wasser 3000 for 14 months. I thought I just saw some points. Have you checked them lately?
Weezer.
Ken Ninetailed for 4 months says, back again. My sub came up too late for the pre-release, but I wanted to say you all got me into Magic, and the Aether Revolt pre-release was my first sub, and the Aether Revolt pre-release was my first ever pre-release. Thanks.
Hey, thanks.
Yay.
Dapper Gentlemancer with a 24-month resub. Yay, 2 years. It's also my Doge's birthday, so I made an album. There's Doge photos. Thank you. Welcome back, Dapper Gentlemancer.
Generic Evil Genius for 34 months of genius.
Not the Penguins for 5 months.
Ah!
No. Ms. Lethal with a 3-month resub. Welcome back, Ms. Lethal.
Lavender Extract for 9 months of nice smellingness. Yes.
Wow.
Arborist Andrew for 19 months says, my credit card company almost made me lose my 19-month sub streak / phew.
I think Arborist Andrew could get us some lavender extract. Yeah. Shirts with a 34-month resub. Welcome back.
Peachy Prieto for 5 months. Yay.
Forest Gaze for 7 months. Woo!
And thanks for the 1,115 bits.
Woo!
From Earthen One, Foxmar 320, W Nevik, BT Etta, MTV CDM, Ghost was and not on Twitch.
Yay!
Thank you all so much. The can of spam had a tough time with some of those names. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it is just a can of spam.
Yeah. I think you should all be impressed.
It's yeah. Really, if you're complaining about its enunciation, I mean, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The fact that it can talk at all is pretty impressive.
You're right, can of spam. You bring up a good point.
I love you, can of spam. Wait. Group hug. Bye, everybody.